what that suspect is originally wanted for. But I can tell you that that vehicle has been running red lights, pretty much every red light, as we make our way up to another major right here. Now, the vehicle speeds, well, let's just say reasonable. Haven't been extremely high. There you go through another red light right there, but it's been continuing southbound on this on La Brea, and it's just been making its way into the LAX's airspace. Hopefully, you'll make a turn here somewhere. Otherwise, Skyfox might have to break off for a little bit to reacquire this pursuit. But LAPD, they're definitely on the ground right there. Two vehicles. This has been going on for a few minutes. It was in the off of Western for the longest amount of time. Started over by the Coliseum and made its way over here to La Brea, and then it made that turn to the south. But the driver is continuing running the red lights. You can see right there those speeds. They are about what the freeway speed should be. If we are actually in the Inglewood area right now, and that vehicle continues to move southbound. LAPD staying right behind it. In full pursuit, another red light right there. Every time that happens, I got to tell you, my heart does kind of skip a beat because I'm always worried for anybody that's any of the civilians that might be in that area.
Hey, Stu, so do we know how many people are in this car?
Well, right now we know that there definitely is just the driver in there, and you can see it's continuing southbound. And again, when they have these domestic dispute type of calls, those are usually the most dangerous for LAPD in general. Not sure exactly how this started, and we heard something about, and again, this is also unconfirmed information, something about that driver possibly being following a bus with the spouse in there or the partner in that bus, and that's what got LAPD's attention. When they got behind it, that's when that pursuit started. Chris doing an amazing job with Skyfox. We keep climbing just to keep this shot up. I'm hopeful that he'll make a turn somewhere around here and make this easier for us because I don't want to break away from it, but right now we still have pretty clear view of it, but we can't make our way any farther south because of the traffic landing at LAX. So we're kind of staying here. The car is continuing to go farther and farther away. Are they pit approved? Well, LAPD, we heard the word a couple of times, but we haven't seen an opportunity for that unit to be able to make that pit maneuver. So right now, you can see that vehicle just continuing southbound on La Brea, running almost every red light. LAPD doing what they can to stay behind it. My pilot, Chris, doing an amazing job. We're actually making our way over to the 405, but at this altitude, we can keep an eye on what's going on as long as it doesn't get behind these buildings. But again, Brooke, this is a pursuit, domestic violence suspect in there. And again, usually those are generally one of the most dangerous type of calls, and you can see that vehicle making a driving over the center divider right there, so possibly making a U-turn. I got to get a hold of my pilot, Chris. He's making a U-turn. He's going northbound. He's going northbound, Chris.
The direction it came from.
They did hear me.
Stu, on one note, obviously domestic dispute calls are known to be some of the most dangerous for officers, and also traffic calls of any kind known to be the most dangerous. And so this in some ways pairs the two. And so you can just kind of put in perspective the importance of getting this vehicle off the road.
Definitely, and whenever it's anything domestic, it always becomes emotional, and when the emotions are involved, all reason. Most of the time, when we follow these pursuits, people ask me, "Is like, what do you think they're thinking?" You don't think they're thinking much of anything, and when you start throwing emotions in there, it really just opens up the door for something that could end poorly. We're actually making a U-turn, so we are going to be getting closer to it. That car continuing on. Now we're on the wrong side of the road right there. Now making its way northbound on La Brea, basically just going back from the same direction where it came. But the speeds, I gotta say, for some reason they're staying in relatively well, now I'm seeing 70 miles an hour. I don't think they're actually going 70 miles an hour, but they've been relatively normal. I'm not saying anything outrageous, but definitely continuing to weave in and out. Traffic getting close to other vehicles, driving on the wrong side of the road. Anytime that any of that's happening, I'm always more worried about the other vehicles that are on the road with that driver.
Yeah, obviously, this is actually where I used to live, La Brea and Cincinnati. They're right there. So I know just how busy this area is, even around this time of day, and not just cars, but people crossing the street, pedestrians walking up and down the streets. This is a busy area, even if you're not totally able to see it from the video here, Stu. But, can you tell us a little bit of what you know about this area?
Well, I'm just kind of along with you. I have a
Hmm.
friend of mine that lives in this general area as well. But right now, we're actually making our way out of that, out of that area, and making our way back into the Baldwin Hills area.
Hmm.
I kind of wonder if this car is going back to the original where it started, because basically it just made a U-turn and now is heading back north on La Brea and heading back towards Jefferson. We'll see what happens. There's the LAPD helicopter now using that center divider. That one LAPD unit was relatively close at many times.
Yeah,
Look
I
how
saw
close
that.
that car is
Yes.
to that to the suspect. So possibly we might see a pit maneuver if it is able. Like right now, you couldn't do it. You have all those other vehicles around there. But if there's an opportunity that presents itself, we might actually see a pit maneuver try to bring this thing to an end. But LAPD, they're doing what they can to keep the public safe right now. They got lights and sirens on. That's the only thing they can do. That driver, that suspect running from the law enforcement right now, still maybe in an emotional state, but definitely trying to keep away from the law enforcement. Not a good situation at all. At least we're staying in the right lanes, and it doesn't seem like there's a lot of traffic with that vehicle. And again, LAPD, they are in pursuit. The suspect wanted for some sort of domestic situation.
Yeah, police pretty close behind this car, and just obviously it seems obvious, but just watching the car go, down the turning lane in the center lane, driving straight down the whole time, slowly moving through these very busy intersections. This is just incredibly
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
dangerous.
whoa.
Oh, close
Definitely
call there with the
dangerous. And
bike. Yeah.
did you see that right
Yeah,
there? It looked
it's
like that car was
terrifying.
actually making a, yeah, it was making a, now we're on the wrong side of the road, was making a beeline for that pedestrians, the bicyclists. It was like almost a threatening move. A lot of times, look at that. Look at that. Oh, geez. Could you just imagine being right on Stalker right here?
That's what I just keep thinking of. You just have no idea
Yeah,
what's
and you've
coming.
got,
Yeah.
yeah, and you're kind of stuck in those lanes right there. They had that said, you're just driving along on Stalker, and then all of a sudden you've got this car going the wrong way. And then they had an LAPD vehicle there as well. They do what they can. And, a lot of times I've talked to a lot of folks about that, and they're just like, why don't they just ram it? Why don't they just, because you just can't. That's not, you just can't do that. It just doesn't work that way, especially here in Los Angeles. So they have protocol in place, and they cannot just smash into a suspect's vehicle, and especially somebody. And again, we haven't heard the words of any kind of being armed, but they always have to assume the worst and hope for the best. That's basically law enforcement in its finest. That's the best they can do. Right now, though, you got the LAPD in force behind it. You got a number of vehicles again following. Again, luckily, we are back on the right side of the road, or the correct side of the road, but that vehicle continues to elude officers, and hopefully we're not going to see any kind of posturing like we saw just moments ago, where that vehicle apparently, or seemed like it was actually targeting some pedestrians there on the side of the road. Thank goodness nobody got hurt. But again, this pursuit's continuing out here. Now we're in the Windsor Park area. And again, speeds, well, they are above whatever the posted limit is. But that vehicle, as well as I do, that Maserati can do a lot better than that, and is keeping within reason. But still, as far as any other laws of street laws, not at all. Wrong side of the road, running red lights, anything you can imagine. Yep. Brooke, that is the thing that I always worry about. Law enforcement, they I've said this before in the past as well. They are concerned about the safety of that suspect as well as anybody else around that vehicle. They are responsible for everything that's happening in that pursuit. But my fears have always been more, let's just say, grounded. I worry about any of the people that are around this car. Like you said, unsuspecting people, you're just going about your day, and then you've got this person barreling through red lights, running from law enforcement, and that's when the tragedies happen. We've seen it in the past. Don't want to see it again. You've just saw that vehicle making all these crazy turns, now starting to weave in and out of traffic. I'm wondering if LAPD is actually backed off because of that driving, and then now just in more of a tracking mode. The helicopter's still above it, but coming up on a solid red right there. Thank goodness noticed there were no other vehicles there, and now making another turn. Now we're back onto Jefferson, and this is where this thing started. This is where we picked this up earlier on. So basically making a big giant loop. Don't know what's going on. Hopefully this person is working through whatever emotions they might be having right now and might come up with a relatively calm answer and just pull over, get out of that vehicle, try and run. But, you know, let's just hope that nobody gets hurt. Yep. That, you know, and yeah, you know, and you saw, oh, look at this. I guess we're going home. I, it looks like, yeah, it looks like we're pulling into a back of an apartment complex right here. This is definitely going to be off of West Street, and you got some folks out front. Where Skyfox is going to move around, we're going to try to get to the back there. But clearly, there's something that these folks know what's going on. That vehicle stopping, the door open. Sorry, no, we are. We get to see that suspect getting out of the vehicle. And just basically kind of park the vehicle and getting inside. You know, maybe not the most dramatic ending, but definitely the endings that we want to see. Like right now, that vehicle definitely stopped. Law enforcement, you can see the helicopter above. Officers arriving here on scene. This may turn into some sort of standoff, but clearly that driver parking the vehicle, going inside this apartment complex. We're going to listen in and see if we can get some information about what the officers are going to do. Oh, never mind. Oh no, 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 no. That's not the ending. So the shots have been fired. The suspect is definitely down, and apparently he came out to the front and he did have a weapon and was posturing, and now that suspect is down. Brooke, I don't know if we can get in any tighter because there are family members down there as well, but definitely shots fired, and definitely that suspect is down. Definitely. Yep. They're I have to be very careful on what I show on television right now because we are live. But these are people that probably, I would venture to say, know that suspect. They are taking them into custody because and I don't think any charges are going to be filed against him. But apparently that suspect did come out from behind the building and was posturing towards officers. And then the shots were fired. Those two made their way over to that suspect. Now law enforcement is going to go over there. I mean, it is for us, thank goodness, that suspect underneath the tree, so we can't actually see what's going on right now. But I do know for a fact that that suspect is down and bleeding. There's another person that was with that suspect on the ground. You can see that clearly, very, very emotional. And again, this is one of those times when officers, they have to separate family members from the ones that are injured because of their actions. Right. Definitely. And yeah, and lots of emotions indeed, and also this is definitely a holiday weekend. But all that put aside, right now I know that an ambulance has been called to this location. Will be arriving here shortly. If there's anything that they can do for that victim, maybe even some of the LAPD officers would are able to offer some sort of aid. But right now, a number of officers, that suspect definitely down. Again, I don't want to put anything on television that we can would that I will regret showing later on. So right now you have that suspect down in the driveway here off of West Boulevard in the West Adams area, and what an unfortunate ending. It didn't have to end like this, and that suspect coming out apparently with a weapon, and shots were fired, and now that suspect is down. I can't say his condition, but I can tell you that law enforcement taking family members away right now from this area, and other officers still here, and of course we are waiting for the paramedics to show up. Right, and that the vehicle's still in the back there, and that driver again. We've said it in the past, and we you and I talked about it even during this chase. Is any kind of domestic.
This started in the Jefferson Park area. We saw going through Inglewood, down La Brea, ending here in West Adams, right outside of an apartment building.
Right, and that the vehicle's still in the back there, and that driver again. We've said it in the past, and you and I talked about it even during this chase. Is any kind of domestic violence calls are the most dangerous for law enforcement, and here again you see why people thinking with their emotions and maybe not the most rational, but definitely very very emotional, and just making the wrong calls this afternoon. It was some sort of pursuit. There's the vehicle in the back. He definitely parked it. I thought he went into the building. Apparently.
So did I.
He chose to come around. Yeah, he chose to come around the side there. And as soon as we came around to the front, I definitely saw those shots being fired, and that suspect went down. Again, the investigation is going to be going on. They're going to figure out exactly what happened. There's probably plenty of body cam footage, so they'll be able to, know exactly what happened. But again, what a tragic ending to a short pursuit this afternoon.
Incredibly, again, this is not what anyone hoped for, what anyone wanted to see. We were all hoping for this to end peacefully. It was a pretty slow pursuit for the majority of us, doing right at the end. The speed started to pick up, and then you saw that quick turn into an apartment building in this residential area. He parked, and it happened so quickly. He parked the car. The car, you could even see in the back, is just kind of like pulled up, not actually parked. Door still open. The suspect runs out of the car. And again, it happened so quickly that I actually thought he went through the building. But then you could see from your point of view, he ran up the side of the building, and we all saw what happened there.
Yeah.
At the end. Obviously, we'll get more updated information from police as soon as we can for you. But this is, it's a hard day, I'm sure, for many people just in this neighborhood in general. They're walking out of their doors trying to figure out what's happening. Again, this is a holiday week, and you got to wonder how this all started and whether everyone else is okay.
Yeah, definitely. And we don't know the relationships between any of these folks and that suspect that's down. That the elderly woman that's very emotional right there. I can't imagine if that is a relative of hers, to have that happen like right in front of her, and then be there when it's coming to an end. Now we have more officers running towards the apartment building. I did see that there was somebody that did come out earlier on and then went back inside the apartment building. I'm not sure what that portion of it is, but more officers making their way inside that apartment building. And again, I'm not saying it in any kind of other way, because it's just been a few moments, but I'm wondering where that ambulance is. I'm hoping, maybe there's a chance that they could do something for that suspect.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, Stu. Again, just for anyone who's just tuning in, just want to let everyone know we're at the end of a pursuit here in the West Adams area. This started around 12:45 this afternoon. Again, not too long ago. Police say they got a call about an assault with a deadly weapon. It turned into, officers chasing a domestic violence suspect in a white Maserati through Inglewood, ending here in West Adams, right outside of this apartment building. And it ended with, obviously, with shots fired. And you can see police are detaining, it seems just trying to get out of the way a group of very emotional people. And yeah, right now we're waiting on an ambulance.
Definitely, we're waiting on that ambulance to arrive out here, and it's just you got the Amazon guy down there. It's just a normal day, and then this
Right.
this incident happens. It just unfolds around you. I really just feel for the family members right there. That clearly the one woman now on the ground probably can't stand up right now. And again, people might be watching, and even I'm a little bit like, do we really have to cuff them? But they do. They really do, because you need to kind of keep them contained. Otherwise, that woman might do something to try to get back over there that will escalate in another situation. So, law enforcement, they have their protocols. They have the way that they do the things they do because they have learned in the past what could happen. And right now, you've just had a lot of officers still running around. And again, I'm wondering that the ambulance probably still en route, but I'm not sure. It's like I don't want to get too close to that suspect
Of course.
to really see what's going on, because I don't want to put anything that unfortunate on the screen right now. But I venture to say they may still be talking to that suspect. There is the ambulance right now. They might actually be having to move some of those police cars to let the paramedics in. That might be some of it as well. But you can see the LA City Fire Department now starting to arrive, and that might be why the officers are running. They're running to get back to their vehicles to let the paramedics make their way into this area.
You can just imagining the emotions of the people on the ground there. That was hard for the two of us to watch. Obviously, no real
Yes.
connection to this. No, we don't know the suspect's name at this time. We don't know the suspect, and it was hard to watch. So I imagine there is a large group of people, as you even just noticed, an Amazon driver. People, you don't know the relation to the people down there. Maybe they're neighbors. Maybe they know this person. Maybe they don't. It was just still a very emotional and tough to watch ending of this pursuit here in West Adams.
Definitely. And again, you can see law enforcement moving out of the way. Paramedics are going to make their way up over to that suspect and see if there's anything that they can do, render any kind of aid. I'm still very hopeful.
Right.
There is a possibility. Officers are still very, very close by. And usually that means, because I've seen a lot of this in the past, that person has not passed away. So that they're staying with that suspect. In the past, I've seen it, where they clearly know that the suspect has passed. They will just kind of walk away just kind of keep it more pristine for the investigation. The officers are still there. So I'm hopeful that there is something that paramedics can do. Again, this first engine arriving here, these are going to be paramedics, but we're still waiting on that ambulance. That's going to be the person or the vehicle that's going to transport that suspect, hopefully, to a hospital. But right now, like you said, Brooke, it is so difficult to watch something like that, and especially when you have emotions running high. We don't, like you said, we don't know the relationship at all. But just see those type of emotions, and we all know people, and you just think to yourself, that could be somebody. You fill in the blank with somebody that you personally know, and you just identify with what's going on. Paramedics making their way over there now. The first paramedics are starting to work on that suspect. So we'll keep an eye on it and see where it goes from here.
All right, Stu. Obviously, yeah. Thanks for this. This was, again, tough, emotional, tough to watch, and really scary throughout the entirety of this pretty short pursuit. It did get very dangerous in ways. The driver going down the wrong side of the road, in the center lane, in the turning lane, running red lights, almost, running up on a sidewalk where a man with a bike was. Just for those of you who are just tuning in, this started, police say, with a call, assault with a deadly weapon. They say this was a domestic violence suspect. This started in the Jefferson Park area. We saw this go through Inglewood, ending here in West Adams, where the suspect pulled a white Maserati through the back of this apartment building, running up on the side, where this ended with shots fired. Again, we will have full details on the Fox 11 News at 5. Stu, yeah, just not at all how we wanted to see this end.
Definitely not how we wanted to see it end at all. And I was so hopeful that it was just going to be a peaceful ending and just going to go inside the apartment. But that's the thing. Things change so quickly, so quickly.
That's part of this. Things changed so quickly. This started with such a slow pursuit, and it ended like this. Again, full details on the Fox 11 News at 5. Stu, thank you. We'll take you back to your regular programming.
third-party marketplace items to not feature sexual and trans